Okay, I think I'm recording. I got a new low dollar action camera from Amazon a couple of weeks ago, and I'm trying it out for the first time. I'm hoping it's recording. Right now I've got the bike in the frame. Just turn it around on me for a second. I don't know if it's going to settle in and how it's going to work. My GoPro got waterlogged through the plug-in mic connection. Battery swelled up and the thing's been temperamental. So this is an ASCO Bravo or Brave 4 Pro camera with an external mic that I'm currently trying right now. It's sitting on a tripod, and I figured for the first video what I'll do is just talk about the bike that I will be taking to Alaska later this year. So this is the bike. It is a 2023 Suzuki DE800 Adventure. Now, the Adventure model of this bike basically came through with the factory skid plate, the factory crash bars, which basically protect the plastics on that side, and these two hard cases and the mounting brackets on each side. So that's pretty much the bike as it comes from Suzuki. I've got about 8,900 miles on the bike so far, really enjoying the heck out of it, and wanted to talk a little bit about some of the changes that I've made to the bike. And the first that you can kind of see from the front end. So I decided, as much as possible, I wanted to stick with Suzuki or large name brand aftermarket suppliers. Being this was a new model here in the U.S., the established aftermarket was slim at best. It's gotten better since I picked up the bike, but still not all the way there. So what I decided to do, first thing I did is I picked up the Suzuki center stand. I got that put on here. Then the next thing I did is I put on the tall windshield. And this white thing behind here is actually a toll transponder. So when I head up north and I have to cross some bridges, instead of getting a notice in the mail that I ran through a toll booth, it will just pay and bill me accordingly. I also went with the Suzuki heated grips, and that's the button on off here, and it's the grip on each side. And also there is a power port under the back of the seat that I added. Those are all the Suzuki parts that I used. I also used some name brand aftermarket parts. They did have Barkbusters and a couple other Universals, but I really like the SW Motec brand, which came out of Germany. So I had to wait about 2 months to get those, but I'm very happy with them. The only thing that concerns me is this big bolt on the outside. I'd like to see something flush in case the bike goes down. This doesn't become a catch point. But it is what it is. I also took off the stock foot pegs, and I went with this IMS mid-size adventure peg. They're not quite as lengthy, but they give you a really nice flat purchase, and they grip onto the boots pretty good. So I went with that. I used the Garmin Zumu XT that I've had now on 3 motorcycles, but I did have to get a special mount to mount it up. But it looks really nice on the bike currently sitting. I'll fire it up in a second so you can see what it looks like. I also went with the quad lock with their anti-vibration thing. I had it mounted a little differently so the phone was more user-facing, but being on this bend, best I could get it. It does come with a factory charging port, and that works out extremely well. That's a triggered switched outlet. Also, I've got a Moscow Moto handlebar bag. I'm using that in place of a tank bag. I just wanted to have more room here in the midsection. I've got a battery tender hooked up to this, and I've got an outlet for my heated gear, which is switched. I also have a 40 amp relay that's plugged in under here, so that basically when I key the bike on, the GPS comes live. Of course, this comes live because it's plugged in through the system. The driving lights become live, and the heated grips become live. So they're all on a switched relay, which basically gives me the opportunity to just unplug the whole system if I ever have a problem. Now, I also added the Denali fog light driving light system. They put out a ton of light. That is probably one of the best upgrades that I did to this. I also had the 2 liter, or at least 1 liter. There's basically enough room for 2 cans of chain treatment. So basically you can, I think it's 1 or 2 liters. Anyways, plenty of room in there for storing some additional goods. And I did get a plate for the foot guard, for the foot pad, for the kickstand when I use the side stand. I also had this Nelson Rig mid-size tail bag, which I'm going to continue to use. The bike is 100% stock. The back tire did wear out at 6,000 miles. I had this replaced with a Scorpion 90 street tire. This is the stock tire, which has just about 8,900 miles on it. It's in good shape. Let me go ahead and key the thing on so you can get a look at how it lights up. So you can see the starting process. It comes on, and view the map, and this pretty much gives you the look. Of course, the phone also gets charged off of the bike as it's running. So that's the setup there, how this looks. Now, when we go into darkness, these screens both go to night mode. Because it's in sunlight right now, it's just showing in the regular mode. And you can see how much light the front of the bike gives off. So each one of the side lights is 44 watts each, and then the LED on the front. So the way I have these fogs set up is that they come right up to the cut line of the low beam, and then when it goes on to high beam, you basically have 10 lights showing on the front. So it really puts out a tremendous throw of light. I also have a switch here where I can cut that off if I need to, shut the lights off for some reason. Other than that, the bike is pretty much 100% stock form on suspension, front and back. I have tinkered with the preload settings and the rebound a little bit. Other than that, the bike has just been really a lot of fun to ride. I have to say that when I put this windshield on, this taller windshield, it's taller and it's wider, I lost about 1 to 2 mpgs. So the bike went from getting 57 miles to the gallon down to the mid 50s consistently. After I added the driving lights and the bags, to about 50. So believe it or not, those side bags and the windshield cost me about 5 to 7 miles to the gallon. That's riding the bike basically, as a normal person would. Haven't hit anything with the bash plate, but it's nice to have that on there. Once I head up to out west later this year, that's when when I start hitting gravel roads. I don't really anticipate doing much more than some what they call dual tracks. I don't think I'll be riding highways, paved roads, and gravel roads. I really don't see myself single tracking or really getting adventurous in the sand and anything with that. I will change up the tires at that point, but stock mirrors, stock levers, the upgraded grips. Let me just give it a quick fire up so you can kind of hear what it sounds like. Like I said, it goes through the fuel pump priming process. I'll go ahead and just click this to maps. It's telling me I've got a service coming up pretty soon. It's 8,833 on the mileage. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. And that's basically how the bike starts up. Stock exhaust. It's very, very quiet. I think you get maybe a little more intake noise than anything else. And I really like it that way. I like riding a quieter motorcycle. So this is the bike that I plan on riding from here in Easley, South Carolina, up to the Platinum Pebble in West Harwich, Massachusetts, out on Cape Cod. And then from there, heading west. I'd like to cross over into either in Idaho or in Washington State. depending on what the weather conditions are and all that. But otherwise, this is really a fun bike to ride. It's been tested out. It's 72 horsepower rear wheel on the dyno, which is plenty of power for what I'm looking to do. The only feature that I would like to add to the bike that I don't currently have is some type of electronic cruise control. It has everything else that I'm looking for now. I've got more wind protection, I've got the lighting, I've got the grips, I've got the hand protection, I've got the GPS on there, the phone mount, I've got 37 liters on each side on the bag, and probably, I don't know, another 3 or 4 in that back container. I will be traveling with a 40-liter duffel bag and possibly some camping equipment. But other than that, this is the bike, and this is the one I'm going to, hopefully it's going to take me there and back again. My goal is to get up to the beginning of the Dalton Highway, which is basically where the Arctic Circle starts. Because they use the sodium carbonate to make the road, I really don't know if I want to expose this bike to that much salt. I'll probably make a last-minute call, because once I get to that point, it's a day's ride up and a day's ride back. So anyhow, that's where I am in this test of the camera and introduction on the bike. Hopefully it comes out okay, and we'll see what we get.